Hello and welcome to the Student Support Portal. The portal is an online community of students, educational professionals and parents of students with a disability who want to keep up to date with the latest developments in assistive technology. Today we're speaking to Patrick Garrington from Contour Design. Patrick, you're very welcome.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Patrick, can we start off, tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about your background?
Okay, so I originally come from a retail account management background, but always in and around the computing industry. For the last 3.5 years, I've worked for Contour Design, who are one of the world's leading ergonomic mouse manufacturers, computer mice manufacturers. I'm now actually a trained ergonomist and a DSA qualified assessor, which, to be honest, is a place I didn't expect myself to be in 3.5 years ago, but really enjoying working for the company.
Okay, and Contour Design, for people who are not familiar with the company, tell us what sort of products they produce and offer.
So Contour Design produce a range of computer mice products. The classic Contour mouse has been around for a quarter of a century now, believe it or not. Very, very well established and well loved product. More recently, we've launched a product called Unimouse, which is our take on a vertical computer mouse, really good for wrist issues. That's actually adjustable and already award winning. But the bulk of our business, might surprise people, is actually a product called RollerMouse, which is a two-handed mouse that sits in front of the keyboard.
Okay, and I've obviously met you at many conferences that we've been out and about at. What's your role within the business?
So my official title is key account manager, but that's a very dry title. Day to day, most of my work is looking after our reseller partners across the UK, of which we've got a number of long-standing customers that we work very closely with to promote the products. But actually, most of my job is about awareness building. Contour aren't very well known in the UK relative to how well known we are in the Nordic countries, where ergonomics is very well established. So I spend a lot of time talking to workplace assessors, DSA assessors, and a range of staff within big organisations, whether they're corporate, NHS trusts we deal with, and a whole range of organisations where staff are looking after people that use computers on a regular daily basis.
Okay, and obviously keyboards and mice are fairly common everyday products. I mean, who would your typical customer be? Is it a large corporate environment, or maybe a student who needs a particular setup?
It tends to vary. If in the UK, traditionally most of our customers are people who may have pre-existing conditions. It could be a specific disability. It could be just a wear and tear injury from using a computer for a long period of time. But there's an increasing awareness about healthy working in the office, and we're getting an increasing number of people that are conscious of healthy working that are also looking at our products. So it's a growing market. As I mentioned earlier, we're relatively unknown in the UK, but in the Nordic countries, we are a go-to solution. We're not an unusual ergonomic product. We are a mainstream device that's used by tens of thousands of people on an everyday basis.
Okay, and can we talk a little bit about your Unimouse? The team in our office have been using these now for about a year, and we think they're fantastic. Why would somebody switch to a Unimouse from what we'd call a standard mouse?
So the standard mouse, quite often the mouse that's supplied free with a laptop tends to be a small piece of plastic that isn't actually shaped correctly for the hand. It tends to be symmetrical, the assumption being you can use it in your left or your right hand, and it doesn't have any impact on your day-to-day work. But Unimouse is very popular as it allows you to adapt a more vertical hand-shaped posture. That's very, very good for people that suffer from wrist conditions. But the unique ability of Unimouse is that angle is actually adjustable. Most vertical mice, you're in a fixed position, so it's a healthier position, but a fixed position isn't a good position. So Unimouse actually allows you to vary your posture during the day so you can find maximum comfort. And rather cleverly, it was designed so you only have to select a left or a right-handed version. An adjustable thumb post actually enables you to make it fit most hand sizes as well. So the whole point is you can set it up so it's comfortable for your particular physique.
Yeah, well, so I think I was quite surprised what a difference it made. I was a standard mouse user and have been forever. And I thought that some of these mice are quite gimmicky. But when I actually used it, I realized I was getting no wrist fatigue. And it now just seems the normal posture that my hand should adopt when I'm using a mouse?
Just sort of adding a little bit to it. One thing we're very proud of in the UK about Unimouse is that it has been very well received. And of course, ergonomists like it because it fits in with their day-to-day work. But we actually put it out for trials and reviews with a number of mainstream computer magazines a couple of years ago, and it won 3 awards. The point being that actually non-ergonomists were reviewing a product and actually giving it, sort of buy it and editors awards because they understood the value and the benefit that it brings people. So it's a great product.
You mentioned about the Unimouse and the RollerMouse. Would you have any of those products there that you could show us?
Yeah, of course. My favourite go-to one-handed mouse is this is Unimouse. As you can see, it has a vertical posture. The idea there is that it actually keeps your wrist in a very healthy, neutral position. But the contention with a lot of alternative vertical mice is that they're not adjustable, whereas the angle on Unimouse can be moved to a lower position. It's about encouraging more movement during the day, as well as finding a position that's actually comfortable for the individual. And the really clever thing about this is you'll notice there's a little thumb support here, which not just obviously is designed to give you additional support, but actually is adjustable. So you can move it in and out, you can move it backwards and forwards, and that enables you to make it fit most hand sizes. So this is a mouse that fits you rather than you having to adapt to it.
Okay, and that's clearly wireless as well. I see there's no cables in
Yes, we do a wired and a wireless version, although generally speaking, most people would now go for the wireless version because it's a much tidier way of working.
Okay. And the keyboard you were going to show us there, is this the RollerMouse keyboard?
So RollerMouse is actually a completely different take on ergonomics. So most people historically, of course, would expect a mouse to be one-handed. It's the way the first mice were designed to be used in the right or the left hand. RollerMouse is the ultimate mouse in our world because it's not just ambidextrous, but it's also gripless. If you think about the amount of force you put on a one-handed mouse during the day, you notice that I can control the cursor just by moving the bar here. So literally just light fingertip control. Being ambidextrous, it means I don't wear my right hand out every day. I can use my left hand just as easily. And it's also very centered. It sits directly in front of your keyboard, which means that your arms are left in a very comfortable position. You're not reaching out, you're not twisting. Everything's very central and very comfortable to use.
Okay, and just to clarify, would you use that product with a separate mouse, or do people tend to use that on its own as their sole mouse?
You can do, yeah. Variation, as people like to say, variation is a cornerstone of ergonomics. So being in a static position all day is not necessarily a good thing, even if it's a good posture. I know many of my colleagues actually use a RollerMouse and a Unimouse and tend to interchange between the two, sometimes for comfort, sometimes to suit the work that they're doing, but ultimately you're not stressing a single part of the body. So it's generally a healthier way to work.
Okay, and if our viewers want to try or buy one of these products, where would you recommend they go to do that?
They can come straight to our website. We have a 30-day trial policy on Unimouse and all of our RollerMouse products. So if anybody wants to try one free of charge for 30 days, they can do. They just fill in the form. We pass it to one of our expert dealers who will contact them, provide them with the product. If they like it, they can just pay for it and keep it. And if they don't, it just goes back to the dealer. The only thing that the person doing the trial needs to consider is just the postage fee back to the dealer if they decide not to keep it. But the vast majority of people that do trials of our products, 90% plus, do tend to keep them.
Great. Okay, so there you go. You've heard it straight from Patrick Garrington. If you want to try a Unimouse or any of the keyboard products, you can get it direct from their website. No risk to yourself. You can send it back if it doesn't suit. Patrick, technology is changing quite a lot. We probably see quite a few mice and keyboards coming through with various adaptations and adjustments to them. How do you see the future of your market and sector changing?
There are many ways that you can actually control a computer nowadays, and in fact one of the challenges that Contour have is that the traditional office workstation actually isn't as mainstream as it used to be. Many people are working at home, even if they have specific disabilities. There's often a need to work at different sites, for instance. So we're starting to look at developing products that are more in keeping with that. Maybe a portable. Wireless, surprisingly, is actually only a relatively recent introduction to our range. The reason being that, of course, if you've got a good ergonomic ergonomic product, the design doesn't necessarily need to change very much, because as humans we evolve very slowly. So good solutions tend to stay around for a long time. But of course we've got to make allowances for the changes in the way that people are working, and when we're looking at developing new products that fit in with that lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that's fair. A lot of our publishers and manufacturers are using this term mobile first now, that everything's being designed around the mobile worker. And
Yes.
so in terms of keyboards and mice, I would assume if people are mobile first, their products, their ergonomic products like keyboards and mice are changing as well.
Yes, of course. I mean, some people like solutions that fold down. That's another reason why Unimouse is quite popular with some people, because you can drop it into a lower position to stow away in a bag. We're being asked increasingly for solutions as well. It's not just the keyboard and mouse, but a lot of our customers are much more conscious of the need for something like a laptop stand or riser that raises the screen to a more acceptable height. And we've recently added a product to our range that allows people to accomplish that. So we're looking at one-stop solutions. We're looking at developing products that are more portable. RollerMouse, of course, was designed very much for the traditional standard office keyboard, and we're considering ways that we can develop the RollerMouse range to fit in more with the need for people to move around and carry things in their bags.
Okay, and we've talked a lot about individual workers. If there's a special needs coordinator or school or university that wants to get in touch with Contour to kit out a lab, who would be the best person to speak to about that?
Oh, that would be me. Absolutely. I'm part of my everyday work is supporting organisations, particularly where they've got assessors on board and maybe a lab or a demo room. We're very happy to provide equipment and training actually for staff that are involved in assessments. So get in touch with me at Contour and we'll look after you.
Great. Okay, and folks, if you head over to the DSA Portal's site, Contour actually have their own dedicated group there where you can reach out to Patrick and his team and find out more about the products, organise demos, and get in touch directly with them. Patrick, in terms of reaching out to you outside of the portal, what is your web address or email? What's the best way to get in touch with you directly?
So the best way to reach me is to contact me at patrick@contour-design.com. Or if you want to visit our UK website, there are links there where you can contact us directly, and I'll be made aware if anybody needs support or help in the UK.
Today we're speaking to Patrick Garrington from Contour Design. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us.
You're very welcome. It's nice to catch up.
This interview was part of our Publishers and Manufacturers series of interviews. If you'd like more information on the products that were discussed in the interview, please go to the Portal Assistive Technology section and start a conversation. Thanks for watching.